Right back at you, Carolina Keith, regular Keith, Professor Keith, whatever kind of Keith you'd like to call me. Happy to see you again. Welcome back to the 786 Assassins Precinct, Crypto Before Dark. Glad to see everyone here. Another 420 on a Tuesday. What better do you have to do at 420 on a Tuesday? I know good and well nothing. Why don't we fill our time with some data, some charts, get to know a little bit about what we're doing here technical analysis wise? Let's all do it together. Let's all talk about it. Crypto's wild every single day of the week. You never know exactly what you're going to get. You only prepare for it. Let's talk about it. Let's do it live. So if you haven't done so, please go hit the like button. It costs absolutely nothing here to hit like. While you're there, hit the notification bell. And don't miss an opportunity to see every video that we put out. Everything we do here on YouTube is free. What we do on here on X is free. What we do on Rumble is free. All you have to do is watch. It costs absolutely nothing to participate. We love when people ask questions. Please drop a comment down below if you agree, if you don't agree, whatever, we can talk about it. If you're angry, we could talk about it. If you're happy, we could talk about it. If you've got an asset that you'd like looked at, drop it in the comments. We'll see if we can get to it. I've got a nice list already of about 15 that were requested. Plus, we always do our normal Bitcoin look over like we do every single stream. I'm gonna go through a couple every single week just to make sure we cross all our I's, dot all our T's. Shall we? And we shall. First and foremost, kind of looks like we're doing this crab walk that we've been doing for the past several months, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Couple things here, good and bad. All right. First, let's start with the bad. You can clearly see the downtrend we're dealing with here. A lot of lower highs, lower lows, right? So you had a lot of highs coming in. You had a high and a low, and didn't quite make a higher high, but we did make a higher low. That's good, right? We did make a higher low. She had half and half. Need some confirmation. You got it. Perfect. There's your high. Here's our low. And the problem is we haven't made any more highs. They've all been equal or lower highs. Not going to get it. We're still stuck in a short-term downtrend. Now, the more long-term downtrend still remains in effect. Nothing's really changed there. As you can see, if I scroll out a bit, you start to see some of my bylines show up down here, right? Oh, look, I bought via TA. It's crazy. You're starting to see some of the action play out, right? You got lows in here and highs in here, little ones in here, little ones in here, right? Oh no, it failed. A little even high, a lower high, and then it started right back again, a higher low, a higher high. So there's a larger, more broad uptrend going on here. We're kind of getting down in the weeds when we look just up here. But hey, that's what people want to know about. They want to know about from day to day, from hour to hour. They don't really have the time to do it. I get that you don't have the time to do it. So you hang out and you listen and you want to hear what I got to say. Well, great. Couple things that aren't so great. Like I said, the lower highs. We've got a lot of sale volume come in. If I look at the oscillators, you'll see that we were super overbought and then we immediately retreated and have gotten into the mid zone here, which is kind of around that dash line between 50 and 40. We're dead in the middle at 45. RSI's no help, but no trending lower. MACD, again, a ton of sell volume coming in that matched the buy volume, and that's just not good enough. We do have a lot of divergence between our two lines on our MACD here, our MACD line and our trigger line. They're just moving averages, but when you get this much divergence between the two, they do tend to come back together. As you see here, you got a lot of divergence there. You had a lot of divergence back here, and they came back together each time. You had a lot of divergence right here before they came back together and ended up crossing back over, right? Similar story back here, a lot of divergence, meaning separation, divergence, and then they converged and got back together shortly after each time. So I do expect that there's going to be some sort of reversal type volume here, even if it's only a bearish back test. Ooh, what am I talking about? A bearish back test. Well, if I scroll out a bit here and give you the larger view, you can see this little uptrend that we've got kicking right through right here very well may have failed this week. This short-term up move that we had that was feeling pretty good, riding high, all of a sudden seems to have failed and fallen under the trend line, and candles, instead of breaking above them, are now getting hung up underneath trend lines. It's not great. Right? I don't like seeing that at all. Couple in the fact that you have another one up here also forcing price action down That's like a double bearish, not great scenario. What could happen over here the next couple of days, we could get some movement back up toward that crossing area right there between our uptrend line, downtrend line here, and trying to break back through our uptrend line in red. Now, this doesn't mean it happens right now. It could take a good 3 or 4 days for it to play out, but I kind of expect that. All right. Why? Well, on the positive side, we have hit the 50 moving average and so far bounced. So far, it hasn't turned loose and failed underneath the 50 moving average, which for me would be my scale out the rest of the way scenario, right? I've already scaled out a bunch, but that would be my scale out the rest of the way scenario. I told you guys that I wouldn't just use the 821 EMA, that I would try broadening it a little bit so that I didn't overreact more so, right? I'm using the 50 moving average as that other barrier for me, right? So when I see an 821 cross, hey man, probably need to start thinking about selling some here. Then we see that 50 moving average get failed. Also, man, that's kind of the nail in the coffin. Really sucks to happen, but it's par for the course. It's happened with a lot of the altcoins I had, and I started scaling them back or selling them off. Now I have re-added some because they came back down in price. That's exactly what I was looking for, to add to some positions. I used all those stables that I sold off with to kind of help try to rebuy some of them. I don't want to liquidate everything just yet. Like I said, there's some promise here. It just depends. What would change my mind on this not being so bearish? A, get back over the 821. That would be cool. That hasn't happened yet though. And B, not just testing this area, but getting up over this area, because if you look closely right there, you'll see that I've got 2 red dashed lines right there. What are those red dashed lines? Well, those are liquidity zones. What is a liquidity zone? Well, they're kind of where market makers hunt back and forth to get the quote unquote best price available. All right. Each time you see a red dash line on the chart, for me, that's what it is. All right. And I'll even show you here. New shorts. We'll call them new shorts. You can call them whatever you want. It's just the fact that there's a lot of shorts at that level. And what I mean by that is a lot of bearishness in the chart came up in one spot. And since that came up in one spot, we like to label it with the horizontal line. And more often than not, you'll see price action migrate back towards liquidity zones, top and bottom. Well, change my mind on this being bearish by getting up here and getting through this liquidity line right up here at about 119. All right, that's not exact, but it's close to 119. Anything above 119, even a wick, would liquidate a ton of short sellers here who are betting against Bitcoin. Now, obviously, that's the bullish yay scenario. What would be the bad scenario? All right. So the bad scenario is coming down here to our liquidity zone down low, where our longs or our bets for the market would get wiped out. Now, as you look at this, you start to see what's happening, huh? A lot of lower highs and lower lows, slowly failing back to support. It's pretty much writing on the wall at this point that this very well may get attacked down here. All right, I'll drag this to the right a little bit more so it's kind of easier to see. And also we have other tools we can use. We have indicators on the chart. We have multiple other websites that sort of give us a feel for where the liquidity zones may or may not be based on all the orders coming in one spot. And since market makers can see the same order books we can, they use those to target the quote unquote best price available, right? You could also draw one down here. I will give you that, and I would actually draw it and go ahead and put it there, because if we liquidate this green line, and I think it's very likely that we could liquidate this 110.8 number, call it 111. If we get to 111, it liquidates a lot of longs. It's not too far-fetched for it to potentially attack 107 down there, 108. All right, it's going to take some work for that to happen. It won't happen all at once. This is a 4-hour chart, so it's a little bit lower time frame. It's a little bit more finicky than that on lower time frames. Daily, you don't have such the burden. Like I said, it's going to require some stuff for the failure to even comply. It's got to get below that 50 moving average. But if it does go below the 50 moving average, you can see that 100 slowly tracking up right there. That would be my next stop and go point. Let it figure out what it wants to do exactly. And since it may take a few days for this to play out, this 100 moving average may creep up slowly up to this level at the first liquidity level before it ever happens. All right, that's full possibility. In order for us to have more up, we must wipe longs. In order for us to have more shorts, we must wipe shorts. That's the way it works, all right? They constantly pull back and forth on the rope with each other to try to see who's going to win. It's just the nature of the game. It's literally the nature of life, all right? We compete constantly, nonstop, 24/7, 365. If you don't understand what I mean about that, every grocery store that you buy food from is competing with another grocery store for your business. Every car on the road is competing with the spot that you're in traffic. Every time you go to a parking lot, you're competing with parking spots. You're trying to get the parking spot that you want, they're trying to get the one they want. If it's baseball, you're competing against the competitor. Football, competing against the competitor. A job, multiple people apply for the job, one person gets it. You competed with all those other people. It's literally life, right? Competitions happen on the chart just the same way. That's the green and the green and red lines that you see there. I'm waiting to see what happens. Fairly sure we're going to get some liquidations here one way or the other. I'd like to see both of them get wiped. You know what I mean? And sting the market a little bit. Because when that happens, we tend to see changes, right? We need some change, obviously, for the last multiple days here. It's been jabs in the mouth, hasn't it, right? I know we all feel the same thing about that. We all get the sting when we see the prices not go down. When we want them to go down, but the prices not go up when we want them to go up. There's my take on Bitcoin. Obviously, we can reassess this on Thursday. We do this again Thursday night, every single Thursday night, 11 p.m. It's called our Crypto After Dark stream. That's how we started. We started this way back in 2019. For the people who have been hanging around since 2019, big shouts to you guys. You're probably the only ones still watching because most people came in as fly-by-night, didn't really take the time to learn, and they got burned big time, right? We are educational first here, all right? We want everyone to learn the charts and learn the lingo and learn what I'm saying. Please, please, everyone, if you're unsure of what I'm talking about, jump in the comments and ask real quick. I'm happy to explain it, all right? I want everyone to learn this stuff, not just listen, not just hear me, but go practice it for yourself. I say this all the time. Take me out of the equation. I ain't part of it. Don't even listen to me. If you don't think I teach it well enough, go find someone else that does. But please take the power into your own hands to make your own decisions on your own buys and sales. Don't copy me. I'm just a guy. I make mistakes like everybody else. I want you to make your own decisions. What's up, by the way? Charts Can't Lie. Good to see you. What's up, Miss Ariana? Leadhead LTC. Good to see you, brother. Charts Can't Lie. E. Phillips made it back from the timeshare presentation. You down in Myrtle Beach. Brother Bill, good to see you, brother. Jorge Diaz, evening from Scotland. Good to see you, brother. They have Hispanic people in Scotland?
Damn.
I didn't even know.
Bruh.
That's crazy. All right. All right, so there's Bitcoin. There's my take. I'll reassess again on Thursday. We're still bouncing to 50, but we're double bearish for those trend lines. Caution. Careful. Things could get gnarly. Here's one we haven't been through in a long time, Litecoin. All right, Litecoin. Why do we bring this up? Because, look, man, amongst all the red that's happened in the last multiple days, Litecoin yesterday had an absolute burner of a takeoff. Look at that thing shoot up and throw that green candle straight up in the air like that. It's awesome, dude. I wasn't expecting a move like that for LTC. Incredible amongst all the red. We knew it had some juice. I didn't think it would bounce like this, but I want to warn you here, all right? We've got a long tail on the top of this candle right here. I don't like that. That indicates some sell pressure there. I like the fact that it's a new high. That's a good thing. But be careful. She's also trapped underneath the 50 fib. If you look at the daily chart here, you got a very, very cautionary gravestone candle, all right? How does that sound to you? Well, a gravestone candle covers up something below. Usually means you're going down. It don't sound like an uplifting candle, does it? Right, exactly. It's a gravestone candle. It means be very careful here. Things could get dicey in a heartbeat. You want to see it stay above 119.67. It's at 120.11. She's right on the edge, right? Now, how about long term? Well, long term, it still has time. I think most of these assets are going to be able to run till toward the end of the year. Not everything, but I think most will. And since this is trying to make a new weekly high, and since it did push up into resistance, I need to see it cross 130 and prove it here. But if it can get over 130, I think we're looking up more toward 200, and then we can reassess, all right? Litecoin has been a little bit of an exception to the rule for some, and I'm glad to see it. As a matter of fact, multiple dinosaur coins have. What's a dinosaur coin, folks? Well, a really old coin that everyone forgot about. Really old meaning a couple years. Isn't that crazy how we've come along in this, right? That's a dinosaur coin. That's crazy. I remember when we first started doing this and everything would be low cap and it'd have $10,000 of volume, and we were like, what are we supposed to do, man? We can't, there's no movement here. And then we bought it, and then stuff goes freaking wild, right? So Yeah, those don't even move anymore. It's a wild world that we're in, dude. Crypto's a wild space. But Litecoin still technically isn't a sale. But when I see candles like that on a daily, that gives me the creeps. I'd be very careful if I were you. She's still over every indicator. And as a matter of fact, she's tickling overbought again. Very well may get one more surge out of it. But please follow rule number 4 and never forget to take your profits, because not a lot of people get enough profits. Simple as that. We got a stock real quick. AVCT, which is Avacta Group. They're probably watching this and going, oh God, he's covering it right now.
Come on, man.
It's not a big deal, dude. They're not really listening. They're not really listening or saying any of that. That's just me talking junk. All right. By the way, we do have our jazz playing. This didn't work right last stream. I don't know. Electronics, dude. These kids with these technologies. All right, so Avacta over the last couple of days has made one gnarly ass move here. Look at that. I bet you there was an 821 cross right here. Look at that.
Gotcha, bitch.
Knew it, dude. Knew it. You can kind of see it on the chart after you do it enough. I literally circled it without it being on there. It's not a magic trick or anything like that. I've just been doing it a while and been able to see it. At the same time it broke trend, at the same time it broke the 50 and the 100. It cut clean through the 200. She's still ripping. She's fighting the 382 fib right here, okay, at 52 bucks-ish. Let's see if it can stay above 52-ish, because if it can, we scroll out to the weekly here. 65's up here at the 50 fib, and then you got the golden pocket up here at 80 to 90. I think 80 to 90 is possible in the more longer term, few months away, and I think 65 is possible in a few weeks. We'll see. It really needs to hang on to this weekly 50 moving average. If it can hang on to the weekly 50 moving average, I think it's going to go really well for this. I like the recovery. That's a broken downtrend into an uptrend. You may get some back tests that are a little bit bullish. You're going to get maybe some red candles in here that kind of hang loose and don't necessarily fall off. The sell volume wouldn't be high enough, and then you can see some more gains after that. But I like the chart a lot. It looks really, really good on the high time frame. Daily's a little concerning because it's overbought, right? And you jumped a lot at once, so it could take a breather here. But bullish back tests I'm okay with. TIA. I actually got rid of this one. All right, there we go. So what was decent looking rolls over and quits. It's crazy. So I didn't sell the 821 cross. I waited until it got underneath the 50 moving average. And then once it got underneath the 50 moving average, that was a sign for me that it wasn't going to be good enough. We're probably going to get some bearish back tests, and it's probably going to get worse. And sure enough, over the last couple of days, it's continued to get worse. It showed a couple green candles like it was going to do something, got right up to resistance, and then failed. That's not going to get it under the 8, under the 21, under the 50, under the 100, in a downtrend. Not going to get it from me. I need to see improvement before I bite. Simple as that. Oh, by the way, we can pull a fib on this little short shot right here and see about where we're at sitting right now. So we hit the golden pocket right here. That's great. We bounced up to the 50 fib. Needed to break that, didn't. Now that we haven't done that, I'm looking lower down here to 140 to 150 and see what happens there down in 786. If we can hang on and get back over that 821 and 50 moving average, that would be completely different. That would give me a little mini uptrend, and I'd be looking back for this 100 moving average up here. That isn't the case yet, though. I think we go down here to Sniper's Alley first. A lot of bearish retests for some of these low cap alts. H-bar. Thought about buying some of this. Let me have a drink. It's just sweet tea. My grandma's recipe, by the way. That's the only way I make sweet tea. That's good. Oh, Vintage Pennies, bro. Thank you. He said, for what it's worth, I stopped listening to other TA guys last cycle and started listening to the Professor. I only actually started learning and making more money finally. Thanks for everything you do, Professor. Thank you, brother. I appreciate the hell out of that, dude. Like I tell everyone, I don't want you to copy me. I want you to learn, listen, and do it on your own. Thank you. That's super boss mode, dude. If you're not in the Discord, DM me over on Discord. It's free to get on Discord, by the way. And wop.com/team786 has a free link. If you go on the free link and click on that, you get general access. Jump in the general chat and say hey to me, and I'll talk to you in the general chat too, okay? And we'll go from there. How about we do a free membership for a year. Just because you came on and said something really awesome and really cool and you didn't have to do that, you come over to the general chat in a Discord and I'm happy to give you free access for a year. Utility, is that 2 different coins or 1 coin? UTLY. That might be 2 different coins, I'm not sure. And MSTY. I'll try. I don't know. Not Spanish, but very close. Doge. Yeah, I can do Doge. We'll kick it into high gear here in a minute, okay? Shout out to everybody watching over on X. Appreciate y'all being on here. Shout out to everyone watching over on the Rumble. That's our alternative viewing platform. If you don't like YouTube, you don't like X, hey, Brew, jump on over to Rumble and you can hang out there and talk. Of course, we got some people over on YouTube. Dude, you guys over on YouTube, go hit like, all right? Go hit like. It's free. Oh, you're Glass BJJ in the Discord. Great, dude. That's awesome. I don't know you guys' names. You guys have different names back and forth. Never can really tell. Anyway, so H-bar. What looked good coming into today, right? You had an 821. It tried to jump over. Let me zoom in so you can see it there. We had an 821 where it tried to jump over. Then today, snap your fingers and it turns bearish. Just like that. We get an immediate 821 EMA rejection with a golden cross underneath. It looks like we're going to get a soft cross. What does that mean? Well, that's where we don't really get the reaction that we want to the golden cross, which means we very well may come back down here and retest it before we go up anymore. Typically, when you have a golden cross like this, you want to see a little bit of a pullback, but you want to see your early leading indicators stay green. Unfortunately, this one's trying to turn red. Be very careful here. If this is either going to retest the trend line or come back farther, I think it could go back farther. Watch out. All right, that's the reason I didn't buy it. I kind of said, you know what? That seems a little too quick and hasty for me. Let me wait a day. It's worked out this time. It didn't work out the last couple of times, but it's worked out this time. So for H-bar, for now, it's going to be a watch out. For me, I'm not going to do it yet. Ondo. All right, here's Ondo. So we should record this one, shouldn't we? Let's do that, shall we? And we shall. All right, so Ondo put me in an odd position yesterday. Yeah, I said to the guys over in Discord, this is one of the ones I'm looking to add to, right? I need to see you jump back over the AEMA, kind of prove it to me. Sure enough, it did it, right? I said, all right, give me a couple 4-hour candles. I want to go down this 4-hour candle and see if anything looks better. I waited, had some good 4-hour candles. Okay, good. Went ahead and added some. Snap your fingers, it goes the other way. Whatever, dude. Good news here is I added to this for a reason. It was at or near my price already, and it has support still. If it starts to fail support, I can run away from this for a pretty cheap price, and I don't got to get too upset about it. It's still playing around with this 50 fib bounce and run up. It's still making a higher low technically above support, so I haven't ran away from this just yet, all right? So you've seen the fibs. Note that this is still technically a downtrend here. You can see it right there plain as day. Don't mistake it. It's there, right? This needs to break out. If it doesn't break out, we could end up with more down through the end of August into September, which has historically been a bad month for crypto, right? Historically, September's been trash. All right, so we'd like to see it get back above these moving averages, particularly the 821 EMA, and then get at least try to push into that 200 moving average again and see if you can get going. If you can do that, changes everything, and then I look like a genius. If it doesn't, I'm going to have to sell off, take a small loss, and wait for a better price to buy in. If it fails, and I think it's likely that some of these fail, like I said, I'm willing to take a chance and add to some. Going to have to bail if I have to. Did you get all that, people? All right. I have to sell sometimes. It is what it is. I got to take chances or I'm never going to make anything. All right. If we fail, the 50 fib back to 85 cents is a solid option. If we go farther than that, 75 cents to 80 cents is the golden pocket. If it gets really ugly, Sniper's Alley is down here at 66 to 71. All right. First and foremost would be 85 cents. Let's see if you can fail that where you stopped before. All right. If that's the case and it wants to fail where it stopped before, we're going to get new lows. All right. And it'll come down here and test the support box area. And then if it can't hold that, it's going to come down and test the last bit of support it's got down here. Can't hold that, you're in trouble because you're back to bear market territory. All right. So watch closely. keep your eyes on it. Are you wanting to add to it? Well, not a terrible idea. Risky, yeah, but sometimes risks have to be taken. That's why I did it. Again, more than happy to sell if I need to. All right. Chainlink. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Let's do Coinbase. This is the old one. Let's do Binance. There you go. That's clean. I like to have a clean chart sometimes. All right. So, Chainlink here. Been watching Chainlink pretty close. Went ahead and added some to this one as well. Had a pretty good pullback here from the high at 20 bucks ish, right? Once we pulled back, we ran straight back through the 236, which made the target. You can see right there, we ran through that 236. That made the target the 382. Sure enough, she comes down here and hits the 382, which just so happens to be right near the 200 moving average, and just takes a bounce. Was looking for that bounce, hoping it would happen. It did. Problem is, we come back today with the bearish engulfing, right? It immediately rejecting that 821 EMA. Didn't want to see that. Good news. We have support here with these moving averages. If it falls below those moving averages, I'm going to have to scale right back out after rebuying some because it just didn't work out, right? A lot of these are teetering, and since they're teetering, I can't push myself and make a crazy decision. At the same time, I can't wait too long because then you miss your opportunity. Like I said, I didn't go crazy with my buys. I bought portions, right? I'm going to continue to try to do this, continue to try to lay out my plan, and take some risk without taking massive risk. I didn't add any low cap alts or anything. I saw big stuff that I think has somewhat of a future, right? Risky stuff. All your oscillators are going to look the same as what I showed you with Bitcoin. They're all going to be nominal, not going to be any help. It is worth noting that some of these are playing around with the pivots as well. I'd like to see them get back over the pivots, which is more bullish than bearish. But hey, it doesn't really matter what I want. So I'm waiting. If it fails more, I'll bail. If we turn the corner and start going back the other direction, excellent. What would be the breakout? Well, getting past this trend line right here. You get past that red trend line, everything changes. And like I said, it's got till September, the beginning of September to change. Also note, we're not getting any rate cuts. There is no August session, and the next federal FOMC meeting isn't until the 28th, I think, of September, something like that, late September. So it's going to be a 2-month grind of what's going to happen here, which is part of my thinking of why I think maybe this stuff's going to kind of hold out and crab walk. That might be very, very detrimental to alts. We'll see. Be ready to bail if you have to. All right. So on to Chainlink, we got done. How about XLM? Go a little faster here. All right, XLM. So similar story as the others. Now I want to be a little bit different here. This trend line looks like it wanted to try to break here. Is that a rejection, or is this going to change its course by the end of the day? Looks like it's going to reject to me, and it looks like it's going to fail. But note the pivots right there at 0.38. So this thing's got some support if it wants to try to hang on over the next couple of days and then try to find its legs. You just got your last tits cross, 100 over the 200 moving average. That's pretty excellent. Like to see that. Ichimoku Cloud, you're still technically 4 out of 4. You're about to lose that though. This looks like this lag line is going to bump into the candles. And if that happens, well, it's underneath the candles and it takes away one of your X's. Sucks, I know. If we get more failure, where are we heading to? Well, let's pull a fib on this and get some mathematical numbers. El Firsto. So we failed the 236. We came down to the 382 and bounced back up, but we're just kind of maybe bearish back testing the trend line here. You could argue that we're still over it if you pull it like that. Good argument to be had for both. So this is why I said it had a little bit more support than others. If it comes back and tags this trend line and tags this pivot, I guess that's not unheard of and bad. That'll be on like a low time frame at trying to catch support. But for the daily, it could be very risky if it gets anything past that. Anything lower gives you 34 cents, 30 cents to 28 cents. Those are your numbers. The 50 fibs 34, and then a golden pocket's 30 to 28. All right. For now, it's a no-go for me, but I'm watching and waiting very, very closely. All right. Now that we did XLM, let's go do everyone's favorite, XRP. No, it's fine.
Gotcha, bitch.
You know, I love you guys. Love every single one of you XRP guys. You just don't think I do because emotions. You know what I mean? You're raised in a feminine society. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of me. I'm on your team. I'm just here with the data. Don't kill the messenger is what they used to say back in the day, dude. And then they killed the messenger. You've seen 300. Your words carry weight here. Or something like that. I don't know. I don't speak Athenian. And that's not Athenian. That's English. See? Anyway, you bounced the 382 fib after you failed down through the 236. The question mark here is, are we going to get the same price action where it looked like it bounced and failed? Is it going to look like it bounced and failed? Because if it does, the next level's for us. We're back to 285. Like I said, I wanted to see this thing stay above $3. She came down and fell, but she's fighting back with that $3 level again. It's going to be hell. I told you it wouldn't be easy. Told you. All right, so down to the 50 fib. Any farther, 264. Failing 285 takes us to 264. All right, what do we have down there to help? Well, the 50 moving average is slowly catching up. I like that. And you kind of see over here where I drew this out, that this is going to take a while to play out anyway. Drew these lines out months ago, and they're still playing out dang near exactly like we said. But that's crazy. Imagine telling me it doesn't work. All right, so anyway, we got some support here if we fail. It's not the end of the world. Slowly but surely, things are kind of consolidating right. That's better than falling off the face of the earth. I know it's been rough the last 11, 12 days. We've got a little bit of relief today. If we start to crab walk right here, we could potentially find some liquidity to go back up. Don't know yet. We're watching very, very close to the sea, obviously. This is a very heavily tracked asset. Super, super overbought. And since fourth, she's gone back to nominal in the RSI. That's really no help. And then the MACD, just tons of sell volume, but falling sell volume, still sell volume. And you got a lot of divergence between your two MACD lines here. We should see that converge at some point. It might not be today, but at some point, we should see it. You're right on the pivot line at 294. That's why I say there's some support here and a chance for this thing to dig its way back out of the mud, not just necessarily give up, right? I'm cautiously optimistic about this one. I need to see over the next couple of days. Like I said, Thursday will give us a better idea of what's going on here. Weekly wise, my voice is acting up. We've had Seattle weather here for the last couple of days. It's been weird, dude. Went from 113 to 70, and it stayed at 70. It's crazy, and raining like crazy. R1 275 on the weekly. Perfect bounce there. Perfect AEMA bounce on the weekly. I do think it's pretty fair assessment to think we're going to get back up here to this green box again. I just don't know how long it's going to take, and I hate to tell you it's going to be next week, and it not be, and just sitting up here lying to you. I think it sucks. By the end of the year, it might be a couple months, but by the end of the year, we're going to have another surge here. And maybe that's the big surge everyone's waiting for. If not, brother, we're going to find out. I promise you, I'll be right there hollering to the masses. For now, wait and see pattern over the next couple days. I'd like to see Thursday and make a different assessment then. All right, ADA. Blast through some of these. Cardano. All right, there's my previous buy line that I made just the other day, right? Looked like we were going to get a move up off the 821, then it failed rather instantly. So it's me showing you here where I did a little bit wrong. I jumped the gun a little bit, didn't quite buy exactly when I should have. Hey, man, thought I had her whooped right here. I thought she was going to hang on. It didn't. Should have waited. Since then, it's failed even more. It's not too far from my target price. And I also set myself up with this and said, hey, if it fails anymore, I can DCA. She's got support down here. She's in a bit of a falling wedge, if you see it right there. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way. There we go. It's in a bit of a falling wedge. Is that wedge going to hang on? Because if it does, these typically come out pretty positive. You know what I mean? This will give me a chance to rebuy down here, get an average price in, and I had already planned to buy more than I bought to begin with. So once that time comes, I can buy a little bit more, add to it, get my price about where I want it to, the total amount that I was going to buy anyway. I think I'll be a little bit more satisfied with that. These back tests were kind of expected for me. I was talking about this in Discord a lot. We're going to get some back tests here. We may get an opportunity to buy and then or sell and then rebuy, or add more and get our positions a little bit better. I'm definitely looking for it on this one. Still got support. I don't want to jump the gun again. I'm going to wait, see what happens. Anything down here below these moving averages, and I got to go. That's all there is to it. I can't hang around and wait on it anymore. I'll have to bail and watch it ride. And if it does get down there, like I said, it's going to be bearish and go way down from there. So what little I will have lost, I will have saved way more by getting out. Wait and see on this one, just like the other ones. So for now, no thanks. SLC. All right, SLC, Solace. This one's still a hard no. You're underneath everything, still failing. Still not oversold. It's a continuation of a downtrend for this one. Cat. Simon's Cat. What the hell is this? Okay, this is why you ask about it. So it jumped all the moving averages. This is probably going to be very, very low volume and low liquidity, so be careful. It spikes up like this sometimes and then immediately rolls back down into the nether. So if it can maintain these moving averages, that's good. But again, be very careful walking the plank on this one. That weekly is a very, very ugly looking weekly candle. That daily is an ugly looking daily candle. I think this is probably coming back down here a little farther. Be careful. With these super shitters like that, they're very, very worrisome to me. AVAX. Did I not turn Discord off? I didn't. Now I have. All right. AVAX. This is all messy, but that is my actual buy lines and price. Let me find a cleaner one. AVAX. There we go. AZAX. XX. Is that what I typed? XX? Yeah. What an idiot. All right, so let's go to the Binance chart. Nice and clean one. I haven't drawn on this one. So it's the same thing that we just saw with ADA, right? You jumped up here, back tested the 200 like you're going to do something, and instead of that, it just rejected it flat out, and it's going back to the moving averages. Anything too far down here, and I'm going to have to bail and just check for a rebuy, because I think if it gets down here, we're coming down lower like that, right? And then I'll get an even better price down here. I could sell it all here and rebuy here and have lost nothing. I would have gotten back anything I lost in savings on the way down. Make sense? So failing the pivot too, I don't like that. That's another ugly look. The weekly, man, what did look good, has some promise, but dang, where's the volume at right here? Absolutely none so far. This looks more like it's going to consolidate, right? I would suck if it did that, because I had really, really high expectations for AVAX. That would super let me down. Baby steps here. Maybe I'm wrong. Could be turning the corner. If you look at it like this and go, hey man, that's a broken trend. You're wrong here, Keith. That looks fine. Okay, well, I'm willing to hear you on it, but it needs to prove it. It rejected every single weekly moving average. Those need to improve really quickly, and for now, I need a little bit more before I bite. Anymore anyway. I can't anymore. I gotta wait. All right, this one was requested. Joby Aviation. Look at this absolute rip right here. Now it's down a little bit post market, but not much. That's a little bit of a scary tail on top of that wick right there. On that candle. That's the weekly, by the way. Daily, if I go down to the daily, you're overbought everywhere. Look at that bad boy run overbought. My goodness. All the moving averages are lined up. Technically, this isn't a sale, but this would be an idea to take profits on. Why do I say that? Well, it's been down so long that it's gotten up so high that you've probably not taken any profits off the table before, or no one has taken profits on it before, and it's only just now becoming a profitable thing. Great. Either way, you're over the 1618. You're stretching out to 23 or so, maybe. Gosh, I don't know. At these high levels like this is where I like to take the greed away, and if it costs myself a nickel, that's fine. I'll make a dime. You know what I mean? Cost me a nickel to make a dime is more than I'm willing to just lose a nickel. Great move, great look. I think there could be more in it, yes, but be careful. It may take a while, and you might not be able to get your money out. Fibs on this one line out just like they do on some others toward the end of the year. SBET. All right, SBET, this is stock. SharpLink Gaming. So big consolidation here. After the volatility, it's really, really slowed down into a big, heavy chop. Bollinger Bands are getting tight, so it's not quite time yet. You're playing around with the 821 and the 50. I'm going to need to see it prove it to get over those first. I think we may end up testing these moving averages down here one more time first. Like I said, big consolidation, and that much consolidation usually leads to staleness and stagnation until we get to the point of boiling. And like I said, those Bollinger Bands are getting tight, but they're not tight enough yet, right? After that big move, she needed some time to cool off. She is finally cooling off, and I don't think it's done yet. Needs a little bit longer, I think. All right, we got a couple more, and then we're out, folks. Mog. I don't think I'm going to have time to get to Sonic. I'm sorry. Old boy Davey. I'll get to it next time, though, okay? Jorge Diaz says, great stream. Watch tomorrow again. Awesome, dude. Kryptonorsky. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Wesley Hart. What's up, my guy? Thank you, Cheese, for reposting over on X. I appreciate that. What did we get up to? I have a counter over here. You guys can't see it. But it takes a second to refresh. Let's see what we're up to. I got Kanye stuck in my head today, by the way. I don't know why, dude. It ain't refreshing, of course. But of course. So I can tell over here. Oh, we're way up over 200. Let's go, dude. All right, so let's get off into it again. Oh, there it goes. Now I just updated. Yeah, we're over 200. That's literally what I just said. MOG or MOG. So we got up into the golden pocket right here before getting chopped down, and we got that same look on others where we're in a bit of a slow progressive downtrend. I want to warn you. Look, we're failing the 50 moving average right now. That could continue to get worse and be dangerous. Don't fall for it yet. I need to see some proof. It snuck up there yesterday and grabbed a little bit of liquidity from everybody and rolled back over. That sucks. I need to see a little bit more next. If it fails anymore, down to the 100 moving average at a whole bunch of zeros, 1-1. That's the number. And below that, you have the 50 fib, and there will be support right through here. It's held that level before, so from here to a whole bunch of zeros, 1-0, right? That would lead me somewhere in that area is where I think the price is going to end up. ULTY. Is it this one? I think it's this one. ULTY Title Trust. So she's still failing here underneath the moving averages, underneath the 100, 821, and 50. She pretty much just jogged right and consolidated, playing back and forth, trying to grab a little bit of liquidity. This one would be a big no for me until I see some proven indicators. It could have one of those days where it just shoots up, sure, but for now, it's a no. They just pay dividends like always. So. MSTY, they do pay 10% though. MSTY, which is a similar thing, I guess. Yep. Title Trust 2, Yield Max. All right, so similar story here. You're pretty much just consolidating sideways, nothing of any big consequence. That's why you're doing it, is for the dividends. So she's still rolled over and underneath at equal lows, and they're paying very well. All right, so nah, I mean the chart wise, it's still in a little bit of a stuck rut here. You'd like to see it get back over some of these moving averages, even though it's at support for me right now. Careful, right? Because it could go lower, and it's done it before. This has got a history of that. I tend to shy away. Last one, Dogecoin. Same story as AVAX and others. That sucks. You hate to see it failing the 200 moving average like that and the 821. I was a little leery of it though. We have a section in our Discord just for Dogecoin, and the fact that it's hit this point right here and kind of started to roll over, maybe not. But on the other hand, look, you've come right back down to support. This isn't a dead wait a minute area. Can't go yes, can't go no. How about I just wait a couple days and let's see if this thing chops out. Let's see if this thing bumps its head and fails. Let's see if this thing pushes up over. We don't know the answer yet, so what do you say we all just wait a second and see what happens, right? I think that might be the best thing to do across the board. You know what, I said that was the last one, but it's not. Let's catch ADS real fast. I didn't do DAG. Don't always need to do DAG. Doesn't look good anyway. But ADS, on the other hand, today, 18%, big push up. Look at that bad girl rip right through the 200 moving average after getting stuck multiple times. This is what I wanted to see multiple charts do. We have a few people in the Discord who bought this one. We got moving averages turning very, very aggressively up. Love to see that. Weekly wise, we're pushing into the 100 and through it. Have another barrier up there at about 16.5 cents though. That very well may cause a hiccup. I really, really like the move. I really like what it's doing so far. Like I said, we'll probably do some back tests just like some other ones, so don't get too far ahead of yourself. It is now overbought for a third time. 1, 2, 3 in a row, right? Be very careful. Some of these have failed and rolled back rather aggressively. I don't think it's going to do that immediately, but I do think back tests are required. So it's a really good look. It's a good change from what it had been doing. I'm so glad to see it. I know a bunch of those dudes over there are waiting to get paid. They may still be underneath water. If you're not underneath water and you're doing well, hey, bro, there's no better time to follow rule number 4. Don't know what rule number 4 is? Rule number 4 is very, very simple, folks. If you don't understand, I'm going to hit it with you right now. Take your profits. Because if you don't take your profits, someone like me or me will take your profits for you. I don't want that. You don't want that. So make sure you get some profits. Have a plan. Execute your plan. It doesn't have to be everything. It could be a tenth of a percent. It could be 5%, 70%. What's your plan? If you don't have a plan, well, break out your pencil and paper or an ink pen of your choice and color, no matter what you consider yourself, and write it down, dude. I write stuff down. Why don't you write stuff down? It's very simple and easy to do. Everyone likes to use Google Notes on their phone or Apple Notes. You don't remember it as well as if you write it. That's just the truth, all right? We've learned that through case studies. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I appreciate you guys being on here. Every single time we get the chance to do this, it's awesome. WAP.com/team786. Our $8 special is over, but there is still a normal price, $16. You can come and hang out with us. You still get your free month. If you don't like it, you can leave after a month. No big deal. I do everything in the public out there. I'll show everybody what I'm doing. Try not to keep anything in secret. Try not to hide anything at all. Try to be an open book with everybody, even for the haters who don't like me, right? You can come in there and hate on me. We can talk about it. I can try to go back and forth with you, right? Nonetheless, you guys could have been anywhere in the world. You chose to be here with me on a Tuesday at 4:20. I appreciate that. I really, really do. Thank y'all all. It means a lot to me. Make the best of your todays, the worst of your tomorrows. And if nobody else told you, folks, today, Keith will tell you. Keith loves you. I got your back, and I'm here with you, all right? Y'all have a good one. I'll see y'all on Thursday live. If you're in Discord, I'll see you on Wednesday at noon like we do every single Wednesday. Y'all be good. Sky's the limit. I'm out, man. Peace.